My guest is an award-winning actor, producer, director, best-selling author, and the host and producer of the hit Fox game show, The Floor. I'm pleased to welcome my buddy, the one and only Rob Lowe, to the show. How are you, Rob? How's everything, man?
I'm very good. It's great to talk to you as always. The week leading up to the Super Bowl, there's nobody I'd rather talk to than you.
I appreciate that. Feelings mutual, my man. Before I get into your hit game show, though, I want to offer my condolences to your family before I do anything else. I understand your brother
Thank you.
Chad lost his
Thank you.
homes in the Palisades wildfire. How's everything going in that regard, man?
Uh, you just can't imagine it. I mean, it's unimaginable what he and all his neighbors, every single one of his friends. He got out with his kids, his wife, their goldfish, their three cats,
Mm.
and that's it.
Wow.
So I've given them lots of clothes. I've been housing people, looking for new housing for everybody. It's truly a one day at a time for so many people, and you just never can believe it's ever going to happen to you or your family until it does.
I don't mind tackling the issue of politics or anything else, but I don't expect everybody to be like I am. So I'll ask this question in a general perspective and let you take it wherever you want to go. Whether
Sure.
it's state politicians, whether it's a bureaucracy that's existed for years, whatever the case may be, how do you believe a bunch of Los Angeles and a bunch of Californians are feeling? Could you, pretty much explain for us your mindset and your mentality and that of folks who live out there, how you're feeling right now in light of everything that's transpired and most importantly, how it's been handled?
Well, 100%. And I come with a kind of unique perspective on this, Stephen. I've lived in Southern California since 1976.
Mm.
One of my first memories of moving to Malibu, which has burned many, many times and burned in this fire, was looking up and seeing the gigantic fire roads that were cut into the mountains.
Mm.
They're gone.
Wow.
They haven't cut fire roads into the mountains, and you'd have to ask the policymakers, but they're not there anymore.
Mm.
And, I play a first responder on 911 Lone Star.
That's right.
And I've housed firemen on my property during the last big fire in Santa Barbara. So I know from top to bottom, the culture of decision making around forestry. I don't know the technical terms, but that's been a real problem, and they've screwed it up 100%. And you can just look at it. Where are the fire roads? They're not there. They used to be there. No, we used to ride our bikes on them, BMX on them. They were great.
Yeah.
So, the chickens have come home to roost. On the other side of it, if a fire starts where it did during those winds,
Mhm.
it's going to do whatever it wants to do.
Mm.
Really and truly, it is. I do know that there were reports of people lighting fireworks off
Right.
day in and day out. Not day in and day out. I don't want to over exaggerate this. I want to be really careful because what I'm about to say is true.
Mhm.
There were people lighting fireworks 4 or 5 times a month,
Mm.
right where that stopped. The Palisades community would report it. The Palisades have one policeman.
One.
One.
What?
And when they go, one. And when they go to whoever they would go to, I don't want to name names because I don't want to
Right.
be wrong. City council, I don't know if
Right.
it's that, but whoever they would go to, they would say, well, you're not a high crime area and our resources are limited. So that one policeman doesn't really, what are they going to do? Go up there and scout out the fireworks?
Right.
Uh, New Year's Eve, the fireworks were set off again. It lit off a brush fire of about an acre. They put it out. But the working theory I'm hearing is that it wasn't fully put out, because embers, you've had a
Yes.
fireplace, if your fire goes out and you come back and look at it the next day, there's still embers. That maybe those embers blew in the wind. But my point being, Stephen, is at some point when you cut and cut and cut and you change policy and you don't listen to experts, the chickens are going to come home to roost, and they have.
My last question on this subject would be this. We all know um, the kind of politics the state of California has leaned towards for many, many years. And we see a new president in office and how he came to California and he went right at the mayor of Los Angeles and Karen Bass. He didn't pull any punches in terms of how he talks about the governor, Gavin Newsom. And for the first time in many, many years, if not my lifetime, I feel a shift taking place where you got Californians that they look like they're sick and tired of this. Like, this was like the last straw, as far as I could say, as far as I could tell. And it looks like there's the possibility of change coming to the state in that regard. Am I off in saying that?
No, you're not off. I watched the roundtable from start to finish, and people were being told by the National Guard and FEMA and people like that it would be 18 months to rebuild. That's what they were actually being told. And then the mayor would say something else. So, you saw firsthand the rigmarole and the mumbo jumbo that's going on. And I get it. It's unfolding in real time and people are doing the best that they can. But I think, people are ready for some accountability. And, they're ready to have water in the reservoirs when they need it, frankly.
Yeah, I got you. Let's move on to a more pleasant topic because you've got a hit show. It's The Floor, and I want you to talk about that a little bit. Tell us about it. And for those who are not familiar with it, explain the premise of it all.
So The Floor, Stephen A., Fox gave us the most coveted, other than the Stephen A. Smith empire, the most coveted thing in media is what is on after the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And they gave us that slot. So my show, The Floor, will be right after the Super Bowl, and it's because the gameplay of The Floor, the game itself, The Floor, is so addicting that Fox has said, we got to get more, people are going to love it and just become Insta fans. And it's really true. You'll go from watching, America's favorite game to playing the most addicting game that I've come across. I love it. And I love that whether you're 10 years old, 80 years old, male, female, no matter what, everybody loves The Floor. They love playing that damn game at home.
I heard it's filmed in Ireland. Is that true? What
Ireland? Talk about California ready for a change. I sit in the offices at Fox. We look out at all the sound stages. They're 5 feet away, and it's cheaper and more productive to take 100 American contestants and fly to Ireland, do it. That's something about, I don't know much about business, but that can't be very right for a business climate.
That can't. So basically it's in Ireland because it's cheaper than it is to do it in California. Yeah, that is insane.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly it.
Wow. I don't even know what to say about that. How could you feel good if you're the state of California and think it's cheaper to take an entire crew, over 100 people, out of the country to another place than it is to do it right there in their own backyard?
That, by the way, Stephen A., that's the way it is with everything. I'm looking at what my next show is going to be because Lone Star is finishing, and every studio, every network is telling me they will not shoot in Los Angeles. Will not.
Wow. And how does that make you feel, considering that you've been living there since the 70s?
It's outrageous. I mean, this is the one thing, not the one thing, but certainly it's probably America's single best export is entertainment.
Wow.
We do that better than anybody in the world.
You do.
Still.
You do.
And where do we do it? Hollywood. Not anymore. It's Vancouver. It's Budapest. It's Ireland. It's New Mexico. It's Toronto, but it is not Hollywood. And we have had idiots in charge of this, and letting this has slipped away is criminal.
Wow. And let's not forget Atlanta. They're in Atlanta too, filming stuff.
In Atlanta?
Absolutely.
Oh, last time I was in Atlanta, Stephen A., we couldn't get enough people to work on the crew because there were I believe 67 productions. I'm not making that up, in Atlanta.
Wow. Business is thriving in other places, but not Los Angeles, California, or California, period. Listen, let me put a smile on your face about something in California. The Lakers. They're kind of relevant right now. I mean, they're top 5 seed in the Western Conference right now, about 6 games above 500. I mean, they're not looking so bad right now, Rob.
No.
How are you feeling about it?
Listen, if we'd had this conversation a few weeks ago, it wouldn't have been this conversation.
That's true.
They turned it on. They've got Superman. They've got the ageless wonder.
Hmm.
And LeBron James. And AD's doing his thing. And I always say, as AD goes, so go the Lakers. And they got the kid, the point guard. God, I mean, it's exciting times to be a Laker fan.
I was on TV the other day and somebody said to me, what should the Lakers do? And I said, whatever Anthony Davis wants. If Anthony Davis says they need a 5, go get him a 5. Because the way he's balling right now, they go where he'll take them. Because even with LeBron still being great, you need AD to be AD at his best. And he's saying, I need a 5 so I can play my natural position. So now it's up to Rob Pelinka, all right? Your doppelganger, as they say. And then now it's up to Rob Pelinka to go out and get a 5 for the Los Angeles Lakers so AD can be happy. Wouldn't you say that's a good strategy?
It's a great strategy. They need to take a page from my Dodgers and go out and get the best in class.
Yes. By the way, speaking of your Dodgers for a real quick second, you don't have any problem with them buying every damn thing? I mean, you got Shohei Ohtani deferring, most of his $700 million. You got them having everything. I mean, they could buy everybody right now. And there's nothing you could do about it. You don't mind that at all?
No, I don't. and because I'm a fan and I like to win.
Right.
But there's a lot of guys with a lot of money. The Mets could be doing it. I believe it's Mr. Rubenstein of the Orioles could be doing it. They've got every bit as much money. They're not doing it. Why are they not doing it?
Yeah.
So where I do find it tough is, my friends, the Atanasios own the Brewers.
Okay.
And they don't have that kind of money. The Castellinis own the Reds. I know all these folks.
Right.
And so that's where I feel like, at some point, I actually hope I'm wrong, but I feel like we're working our way to a lockout or something, because at some point it will be untenable.
Yeah.
But it's all within the rules.
It's all within the rules.
But there's going to have to be a change. The Players Association is not going to want that, obviously. They want to get the people paid. So I don't know where it all ends, but the Dodgers are just being smarter and more generous. But hey, man, Stevie Cohen, open up the checkbook.
He is. He is. I don't think he's going to hesitate to. But then again, he's fighting with Pete Alonso. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Unbelievable. Wait, that's unbelievable.
Why is that? Why is that, Rob?
I love the polar bear. I love watching him. There's nothing more exciting in baseball than a pop fly that you're not sure he's going to catch.
Right.
There's nothing. there's nothing. But I love him.
Listen, I like him a lot. I hope he resigns. But there was some slippage last year. I mean, they were a great story in the postseason, like the Cardiac Kids, the way they were so feisty or whatever. But there was some slippage for him, and I don't think that's about him. I think it's about Scott Boras getting in the way, and I think that's problematic. He's got to watch himself. Don't let your agent get in the way of the bottom line when all is said and done. But before I let you go, let me transition to football, because we got a Super Bowl coming up. And I can't let you go without getting your take on this. The Philadelphia Eagles ramrodded the Washington Commanders, and we saw Patrick Mahomes once again pulling out a victory against the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be Kansas City, Philadelphia rematch in the Super Bowl from a couple of years ago. What are your initial thoughts?
I have so many thoughts. I mean, you can't argue with greatness. A lot of people want to hate on greatness. A lot of people get tired of greatness. The refs are in the tank, whatever the heck. I'm tired of Taylor Swift and whatever. They're great, dude.
Yeah.
And you know what? I went to Arrowhead, I want to say last year. And when you watch these guys up close, it's a whole different thing. There's something about television that does not capture his ability to see with eyes behind his head and just move to the left and extend plays. We should be thankful that we get to watch this kind of greatness. I was bummed for Josh Allen, but you know what? They're not ready. That team ain't ready. They're not ready.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Not ready.
Kincaid, you got to catch that pass. You got to catch that pass. Just like Mark Andrews for Baltimore. You got to catch that pass. You got to catch that 2-point conversion. It's what you do. You get paid to do this. You can't mess that up. Having said all of that, Philadelphia, Kansas City, you're leaning towards Kansas City?
So I saw Saquon play against the Rams this year.
Yes. When he ran for 220, 226 yards that game. Yep.
I got to see LaDainian during his gigantic season in San Diego back in the day.
It wasn't
And
this.
that's what it reminds me. It's just like you just get that energy. You can see every time he touches the ball, you think, oh, he's breaking it to the house. You just kind of know it's going to happen. So I think this is going to be a great Super Bowl. For sure, the best two teams are in it. It's not even close.
I think that's what it's going to take for the Eagles to beat Kansas City. Saquon has to have a big game. Even though Jalen Hurts got to play too, it can't be it's in Jalen Hurts' hands against Patrick Mahomes. That ain't going to get it done. Saquon has to demoralize Kansas City and Steve Spagnuolo's defense in order for the Eagles to win the Super Bowl championship. What do you think about that prognostication?
I agree, and I think you go to that first. One of the things I didn't like about Buffalo, I didn't like Buffalo's play calling on first and second down at all. It's like when they finally got into when they needed it, then they started calling the plays I thought they should have been playing all along. So let's not wait till the second half to go, where's Saquon? Let's feed that man the ball from the jump.
New season of The Floor premieres February 9th on Fox, the one and only Rob Lowe. Appreciate you, my man. Always good talking to you. Can't wait to see you. You take it easy, all right?
Thank you. It's great to see you as always.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.